We have only 35 chambers. There is no 36.
I know that. But I want to create a new chamber.
And what would that be?
I think Shaolin techniques should be available to all. So then, that's my idea for a new chamber. To teach the martial arts to the people. Anybody.
Alright, welcome back to another episode of My Three Cents. So, this one is going to be an episode on Zen. Since I talk about Zen, I mention it all the time. Even people that don't study it, the art of Zen or Zen Buddhism, use it all the time. So, since I mention it all the time, I figured I'd do a quick episode and remember, guys, this is my 3 cents. I always encourage you to do your own research, your own homework, and connect with these different things personally to fully understand them and not just judge what you have heard of but haven't participated in. Because I know a lot of you guys are religious, Christians, or whatever the case may be. So being a part of a group will exclude you from knowledge of the world that is actually included in the thing you're subscribing to. I know that sounds tricky, but that's just how it is. When you choose something, you're kind of not choosing something else, even though that thing you're not choosing is directly connected to what you chose. That's why it was one of the choices. So sometimes it seems like I'm overcomplicating things with how I explain them, but I don't really care about that. You got to figure it out. I can't baby step this thing all the way through. A lot of my episodes are pretty mild. To me, they're not really as profound. They don't dig in as deep as I want to go, but I don't want to lose the audience. So, but lately I've been deciding to just try to go a little deeper into things, man. It is what it is. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you need to study more. I can't retard my information for people that don't want to progress, right? So, Zen. Let's talk about that because I know a lot of Christians. I always talk about Christians because I used to be a Christian and I mostly know Christians. So that's why I always bring them up as a great example of why you should not join a damn group or be a part of any belief system or religious system that you don't fully understand or overstand. And if you did understand, overstand these things, you wouldn't be a part of them, okay? Because you would see where they fit into the world, where they fit with you, where you fit with them, and how this and that is just another version of you being told in an allegorical story form, right? In a historically inaccurate story form. So we have to understand what we're dealing with and stop just being so eager to subscribe to what sounds right. So even when I'm dropping knowledge on here, I always encourage you, go look this stuff up. Go verify what I'm saying to yourself. Don't just take it because it flows or sounds good. Now, we know things can innately connect with your spirit, and you will know the truth of it. This is called gnosis. It's knowing without knowing, right? And that brings me back to Zen. Now, with me, the first time I ever heard of Zen is Michael Jordan. All right, now this is probably the first time most of y'all heard of Zen, Michael Jordan. Now, when they used to interview Michael Jordan after his games, he has a hot game, right? He goes, man, I was just in the zone. All of y'all have heard this. He says, I was just in the zone. The hoop seemed like it was this big, and he would do this thing with his arms to make like a hoop, right? With his wingspan to show you this is what it felt like versus what it looks like. Now, if you're not understanding what he's saying, it's because you might not have had knowledge that Phil Jackson taught the Chicago Bulls Zen Buddhism. This is why they were able to conquer and dominate the league all those years. He taught them Zen Buddhism. Why is this important? Zen, or the art of being in the zone, is akin to a term I like to use called Way Wu. This is a Chinese term. I'm saying Chinese, so I hope I'm not being offensive and saying the wrong thing. Asian American, whatever. This is a Buddhism term. Way Wu. This means doing, not doing, or trying, not trying. It also represents what they call the middle way, the middle path. This is very important. See, they believe that your whole life should be approached from this perspective, way wu way, doing, not doing, because we are here to be active. There is a doing, but what's more important is the not doing within the doing. What does that mean? That means I'm great without trying. Okay? So let's bring it back to Michael Jordan. Let's bring it back to the hoop was this big. I was just in the zone. Everybody said it. You have probably been in the zone yourself. If you play sports, you have been in the zone, right? Especially basketball. I mean, you can't miss. You're just throwing them up. I mean, it just feels right. We call it being wet. It just feels right. There's nothing anybody can do. All of a sudden, you don't understand the concept of defense. All of a sudden, competition is like something you've never heard of. You got to dig into these moments and understand what you was a part of so that you can go back and get that again, right? Because this is something that's accessible anytime you want it, just like everything else. But when you subscribe to certain channels, you don't get to see what's on other channels at the same exact time. That's the problem. See? So, doing, not doing, what does that mean for me? What's my 3 cents on that? It always, for me, goes back to being in the now, being in your now, being present. The gift of being present is to realize that you are right now, right? All time is now. Now is the most powerful moment in history. Think about that. Because all time is now. Now is the most powerful moment in the future. Because all time is dependent upon now. Now determines the history and now determines the future. Now is the middle ground. You get where I'm going with this? Now is the middle way. So, within the middle way, you should be traveling the middle way. You should be doing, not doing. You should be in the zone at this point. Y'all done been alive too long to not know what the zone is. Why are you sitting around trying to meditate and you don't understand what Zen is? Because that's the energy you're trying to reach when you meditate. You're trying to get to a place where you're not consciously thinking. I mean, obviously, your brain is always 100% active. So, what happens when I get to a place where I'm not consciously thinking, but my brain is still 100% active? That is Zen. You're in your 100% mode without you. Because just like many other things in life, it's always you in your own way. You can say somebody else was in your way, but you could have chose a different path. So it's always going to come back to you because it's about you. There's no sense in trying to deflect anything. So, way wu way, the middle ground, doing, not doing, trying, not trying, going into the zone or Zen, letting the energy take over of gnosis. Suffering in life. This is also attached to Zen Buddhism because you have to address the other side of this zone. Where are we before we're in the zone? Well, 9 times out of 10, we're suffering. Okay, so suffering is trying. This is where you feel like you have to figure it out. I gotta try. I have to. I have to. Okay, that is an egotistical thing that you have created. It's some type of infinite loop of depending on yourself and simultaneously not knowing what to do. That ain't gonna get you nowhere. That's the opposite of Zen. That's being stressed, right? So, suffering comes from again, this is my 3 cents. These are all the things I've gathered from my life experience. Yo, a matter of fact, one I want to mention this. One of the last people I spoke to about my podcast asked me if I'm reading from something or if, how am I, what am I doing, right? So this is what I told you. This is what I told you guys before. This is what I told him. No, I'm not reading anything, right? I get these downloads where I go and I write them down on the day that I get them. I'll go and write down maybe one sentence. And that one sentence will be able to trigger the download again. These are like keys. I don't have to sit and write the whole story out. I can write one phrase, right? And this will be the key because I know once any other day comes and I look at this phrase, the whole download will come to me. Boom. So what I might do is just glance through my book or something will come to me and I'll say, man, let me go get the equipment right and record something. So no, I'm not reading or looking or referencing anything. This is just me butt naked. Just I'm giving you my 3 cents, right? In the purest, realest way. All right. So going back to my 3 cents on Zen, right? And suffering. Suffering comes from attachment. Suffering also comes from resistance. Now, this is a huge thing in Zen philosophy, is that all suffering stems from expectations and resistance, right? Because when you expect something that don't happen and something happens that you didn't want to happen, it's hard for you to accept that. So you being in a place where something has already happened, right? It has happened, but you're in this weird spot where you can't accept it. So where are you? That is hell. That is suffering. So how do you get rid of suffering? You find where you're blocked at. You find where the resistance is in your situation. That's all you got to do. This is a huge secret. If you feel in any type of way about any situation, look honestly at that situation, find the resistance, and then unblock it, unclog it. Focus on that spot to clear it up. And the whole thing will get to moving again, no different than a digestive system or anything else. If the body can be constipated, can't your life be constipated? Right? These are all metaphysics of the same energies. That's why I love metaphysics, because everything is everything and all is reflection. So this isn't even going to be a long episode. There's nothing really to talk about because I just wanted to bring up Zen, zone. It keeps coming up. So I said, you know what? Let me record a few minutes talking about this because I always bring it up. I never really explain it. I don't even know if I did a good job explaining it just now. But my point is this. Go look it up. Because your objective is going to be to live in the zone where you're just doing things without trying. Has something ever fell next to you and you just unconsciously reached out and caught it midair, and then sat there and looked at yourself and was shocked and surprised, like, what? Am I Spider-Man? Right? So we have those moments. That's like Zen. You know what to do when you learn to trust yourself. And when you stop expecting results, you stop being disappointed. When you stop resisting what the result is, you stop suffering. All right? So look, I hope I gave you all a little insight to what Zen is. Y'all need to figure it out if you don't know. Go back, look at some Phil Jackson interviews with ESPN. The Last Dance. Phil Jackson even gets, he had an episode on The Last Dance, the documentary of Michael Jordan, the Chicago Bulls. And he even goes into more detail about how he taught them Zen Buddhism. All right. And this is what allowed the Chicago Bulls to be champions upon champions upon champions. They had the teachings of something that the other teams were not using. Look this up. The triangle offense. You guys have heard of it. Look this up. Phil Jackson and that triangle offense. What else comes in a triangle, guys? The pyramid. It's a two-dimensional pyramid. The most powerful shape in the world. They call it orgone energy. Look it up. You could actually they have these pyramids that you can get, right? These are outlined pyramids, as to say, they're kind of just like the structure, and you will be able to put something under it. So what I saw people do was they would put a piece of fruit on the counter and they would put the pyramid on top of it, right? To where the fruit seemed to be inside the pyramid, and then they would put a piece of fruit next to it that had no pyramid around it, and it blew my mind that over time the one without the pyramid became extremely rotten, where the one under the pyramid must have been protected by some type of energy. It's very strange if you don't understand it. So look it up, right? So the triangle offense, there's a reason behind this stuff, man. You got to get into it, especially if you're a sports fan and you're not a spirituality fan. If you know people that are so into sports but reject your knowledge, you got to come at them from ways of where they can see, right? So if they love sports, break down why they love their sports and let them know what they love. So maybe then they can connect with something higher in themselves and get a better perspective of their life as a whole in general. Instead of just going around doing stuff and feeling like you're not connected to anything, when in actuality, all is self, all is reflection, and you are connected to everything. So look, I hope this has been a short and insightful episode. I know, look, for me, this is extremely short because y'all know I get on here and I go. I go about stuff, I got to. But I always say this, I'm going to be dropping more back-to-back episodes coming up. I'm tired of what I'm seeing in the world. I've been nice, I've been mild, I've been comfortable. I've been teaching you guys and not necessarily educating you. And that's why I encourage you to reach out to me personally so I can hit you with the energy that you directly need. I'm not trying to come out here and spray like buckshots and hit whoever, whatever. That ain't my style. So I'm going to be dropping what's on my spirit and what the universe brings right to me. I'm going to be dropping it right onto the podcast. Hey, hate it or love it. If you love it, pass it to somebody else. If you're getting something from it, support it. Don't just come and rob my knowledge and energy. Hey, but if that's what you're into, do you. But don't expect anything substantial in life if that's your energy. If you're not willing to exchange, then what are you doing, right? So, with that being said, man, this has been another episode of My 3 Cents. Keep checking back and stop being fooled by the titles of my videos because people ask me this all the time. They look at the title, they think it's about that, and they move on to whatever they want to look for. Guys, all my episodes connect. All is reflection. I'm telling you, everything circles and cycles, comes back around, just like the Ouroboros or the snake that eats his own tail. This is what we're involved in, guys, the ultimate cycles of life. So, listen to any episode. You can randomly pick one, and I guarantee you'll get something from it. Trust me. I'm not doing this for my health, guys. So, look, I'll see y'all next time. Hope y'all got something from it. This has been My 3 Cents. Wholeness and all kinds of gratitude, y'all. Gone.